Okay, welcome to Les Matières 3. Now, in the previous two videos, we were looking really at object pronouns. I like it and she has helped me and that sort of thing, and how we might use them when speaking about our favorite subjects. So today now we're going to put together a kind of a finished answer. So if we're starting off saying my favorite subject is, well, as you see there, ma matière préférée is the standard option. We then have ma matière favorite. So the masculine form would be favorit without the te, but that's the feminine form because matière is feminine. Or ma matière fétiche, as you can see there, another way of saying it. And then you say c'est la biologie or le français or whatever. Now, if you want to say I find it interesting, fascinating, etc., so if you want to pause for a moment and think about that, so the answer is we say je la trouve if it's feminine, or je le trouve if it's masculine. So here are a few of the options. Assez facile. So facile, you're finding it easy. Assez, easy enough or fairly easy. Or intéressant, obviously you could find it interesting. Vraiment intéressant, you're finding it truly interesting. Exigeant, it's demanding, mais passionnant, okay, fascinating. So some combination of those. Just bear in mind, if it's a feminine subject, like most of the sciences, je la trouve, your intéressant will become intéressante with an E on the end. Exigeant, demanding, would become exigeante. You'd sound the T. And similar story with passionnant will become passionnante. Okay. Now, if we want to say, what are we going to say next? We're going to say, and I'm lucky. So we're saying something about your teacher then, in order to bring in object pronouns. So if you're lucky in French, you avoir de la chance. You have some luck, literally. J'ai, present ever, I have. La chance would be the luck, so de la chance, just some luck. Parce que mon, if it's masculine, or ma feminine, prof de biologie, or français, or whatever, est excellent, excellente if she's feminine, or formidable, great, or whatever. And we're then going to say she has helped me a lot. Let's just go with she for now. So again, if you want to think back for a moment, aider to help, elle a aidé, she has helped. So elle m'a beaucoup aidé, she has helped me a lot. We could add avec les points difficiles du programme, with the difficult points of the program, the curriculum kind of. An alternative there, if you want to say I can talk to her, when if ever I have a problem, I'm going to say si jamais j'ai un problème. Now, if you want to have a think about it, I can talk to her. Well, I can then is going to be pouvoir, that's je peux. Parler, you may know, is to talk. So anyway, if I can talk to her, then si jamais, if ever, j'ai un problème, have a problem, je peux lui parler. So you may remember from the previous videos, just as in English you talk to somebody, in French you parler à somebody. Where there's an à, we say the object is indirect. So if we're saying him or her, if it's an indirect object, we use lui for the him or her. Okay, now if you wanted to be even fancier, I can talk to him or her about it. So in other words, rather than say si jamais j'ai un problème, if ever I have a problem, je peux lui parler de mon problème, about my problem. If you want to replace that de mon problème there with a pronoun, now we didn't look at this previously, but where you have a verb parler and an object problem, if there's a de in between and you want to replace the object with a pronoun, talk of it or about it, it's on, en you use. So again, if you want to have a shot at where the on would slot in there, well, you could do so. The answer is si jamais j'ai un problème, je peux lui en parler. Talk to her or him of it or about it. So that would sound good. So you could say that in addition to or instead of the she has helped me and so on. Now, if you're giving another subject you like, again, you could simply say j'aime la physique. I like physics, but an alternative to that, la physique me plaît. It pleases me. Is another way of saying you like it. And then we might say why, but actually on the next video we're going to look at specific reasons why you might like a particular subject. So we're going to come back to that. Now, as regards to subjects you don't like, so what are our options? So ma bête noire, my kind of literally is a black beast or black animal. It's kind of where we would say pet hate or something or someone you particularly dislike. Say le guilic, for example. Or another option here, you say je suis allergique. I'm allergic à la chimie, to chemistry. Now, you wouldn't say à le français. À and le, you get au. So I'm allergic to French. If it's a masculine subject, as the languages are, it'd be au français. Or simply, je n'aime pas, says I don't like, pas du tout, we're saying in this case, not at all, les maths, or je n'aime pas vraiment, kind of not really, I don't really like la comptabilité, counting. Now again, if we want to say I find it, if you want to pause and see, can you remember? So as we were saying above, I find it, whatever, je le trouve, if it's a masculine subject, vraiment difficile, truly difficult, a ennuyeux, useful word if you don't like something, boring. Or if it's a feminine subject, then je la trouve, so again, could go difficile again, or incompréhensible, incomprehensible, a très, and the boring this time, it's going to be ennuyeuse, E-U-S-E, if the subject is feminine. Okay, so find it boring. What else are we going to say here? Yes, if you want to say I've never liked it. Now, again, if we said this before, but let's recap. So I have liked, j'ai aimé. I have liked it. If you want to pause for a moment, the answer is je l'ai aimé, like so. Potential extra E there if it's a feminine subject, but won't affect the pronunciation. So I have not liked it. Again, if you want to pause and think, the answer is je ne l'ai pas aimé. And final version there is I have never liked it. So in never then, instead of ne and pas, we have a ne and jamais. So that would be je ne l'ai jamais aimé. So I've never liked it. Okay. Now, what do we want to add to that? I've never liked it. Yes, now you could say I regret choosing it. So let's say instead of saying je regrette d'avoir choisi, to have chosen literally, or having chosen la géographie, geography. Now, anyone, any idea how it's I regret having chosen it, if we've already mentioned la géographie? Well, the answer is, I mean, you notice here with choisi, there's no a. You don't choisi a something. So this is a direct object, la géographie. So we're going to use la. And if you're having a shot at where it slots in, well, the answer is je regrette de l'avoir choisi. So again, just as where we say, for example, je l'ai aimé, the le or la goes in front of the avoir bit if you're in passé composé. So it's the same story here. It'll go in front of the avoir. Je regrette de l'avoir choisi. I regret having chosen it. You could add, now this is a tricky point, we won't go into it at the moment, but if you want to say I should have, I should have studied, whatever. So it uses j'aurais, normally that's present condition of avoir, that's I would have. Do, then is the past participle of devoir, which is to have to. So literally that looks like I would have had to, but kind of has the sense of should have. So a useful expression, we won't go into, it's called the past conditional, but we won't dwell on it just now. I should have, and then just the infinitive of whatever you should have done. So quite useful in a diary or in this case in the oral. I should have étudié l'économie, economics, or les arts ménagers, or home economics, or whatever. Final point, I think, yes. Well, of course, if you're saying, if it's a compulsory subject, you can't say I regret choosing it because you didn't have any choice. So you could say, mais malheureusement, unfortunately, c'est une matière obligatoire. Now, if you want to say everybody has to study it, so let's see. So we come down a little bit here. Yeah, here we are. Tout le monde doit, so there's devoir again, just present tense this time. All the world, or everybody doit, has to study le gaélique. Sorry to be picking on le gaélique here, but everybody has to study Irish. Now, if you're saying everybody has to study it, if you want to pause and have a little think, the answer is tout le monde doit l'étudier. So it'll slot in front of the étudier, because it's the object of that bit. Now, final point, what are we going to say here? Yes, so say pour couronner le tout, if you want to extend your, this is literally to crown the whole thing, or to cap it all, as we might say. Notre prof de géo, if geography was the one you didn't like, donne beaucoup trop de devoirs aux élèves. Gives a lot, too much, far too much homework to the pupils. Now, if you did want to turn that into gives us, so that, just to cap it all, our geography teacher gives us far too much homework. If you want to have a little think about that, the answer is pour couronner le tout, to cap it all, notre prof de géo nous donne beaucoup trop de devoirs. If you're adding finally then, which is very annoying, ce qui, so normally we just qui, if you're referring to a specific noun, le livre, the book, qui est sur la table, that's fine. But if the which is the whole fact, our teacher gives us too much homework, it's going to be ce qui, which, for the which there, a which is très agaçant, which is very irritating, annoying, parce que j'aimerais me concentrer sur les autres matières. I would like to concentrate, literally concentrate myself, you notice, sur les autres matières, on the other subjects. Okay, that's it for now. Again, if you want a one-to-one, it's at kelltony@gmail.com, KELLTONY at gmail.com. Okay, bye for now.